What up, y'all? It's Ghetto Racketeering TV. I'm your man A. I'm the author of Ghetto Racketeering. Make sure, man, y'all push the subscribe button and that like button, man. Per usual, man, I'm coming at y'all, man. Kicking it with y'all. I'm always talking about the 80s, man. It's a gangster era in the city of Detroit in the 80s, that's for sure. 70s, 80s. I jumped off the porch, man, in the early 80s. I was getting money, man, with them boys, man, and, like the average teenage dude, man, I just wanted to, get fresh, man, and have a pocket full of money and drive good, you know what I mean, things like that, man. But, when you look at the 1980s, man, and you look at how things was put in the community, man, you can't help but say that it had to be a conspiracy, man, you know what I mean, dealing with how they put heroin in the community, man, in the 80s, man, and the 70s and the 80s, man, especially coming from that Vietnam era, man, and heroin was, prevalent. It was everywhere, man. I can remember my uncles and them, man, and my pops and them, man, and they was selling penny caps and stuff like that. Even though, man, my great uncle and my uncle, they was laying their pimp hand down and everything. I can remember it, you know what I mean, like it was yesterday, man, you know what I mean. I can remember, being up on Woodward, you know what I mean, getting money, you know what I mean, jumping out the cabs, you know what I mean, getting money. Because back then, man, we had a couple cabs in my family, man. My grandmother, she owned cabs, had two of them. My uncle, he had a few cabs. He had like 3-4 of them mugs, man, But I pull up on my uncle, man. I'll be with my grandmama or something, man. Pull up in the cab or something like that, man, and jump out, man. My uncle would give me, you know what I mean, a nice little fist roll of ones, you know what I mean. Back then, man, for a guy, man, 10, 11, 12 years old, man, that was good, man. Then I started, you know what I mean, hanging out on Dexter, man, and, I was seeing a lot of things, man, plus you got to remember, man, my great-great-grandmama, she stayed down in the Jeffrey Projects, man, in the J building, so I used to be up there at the Globe Theater, man, right back there off the Grand River, man, across the street from King Cole Supermarket, man, and, the hookers up there used to, pay the little young brothers like myself, man, to watch out for the police, man, and stuff like that, man, and watch their little stash, man. They put their little money, stash their little money, man, because they ain't want no tricks robbing them and stuff like that, man. And, they used to pay us, man, a few dollars, man, which was A1. That's we was into that, man. Hustling was around me everywhere, man. That's all I seen, you know what I mean? That's all I knew, man. The street dudes, man, was my hero, man. You know what I mean? My pops was my hero. He went to the penitentiary. My uncle, hero, went to the penitentiary. My mama, hero, caught a fed bit. You know what I mean? She didn't go to the joint, but she caught a fed case. You know what I mean? She come from up under, not having to go to the penitentiary. You know what I mean? Moms was out there writing checks and stuff like that, And, her homegirls and them, they was boosting and stuff like that back then, kept the little brother fresh, man, stuff like that, man. So, fast money, you know what I mean, the fast life and stuff was around me everywhere, so it was a norm, man, you know what I mean, to walk up and down Dexter, and you see the guys out there slanging, man, and, you can hear things like Whip Cracker, you can hear things like Uchi Khan, Murder One, you can hear, you hear a lot of different things, man, and a lot of different stamps. You know what I mean? That boys was, pushing back then, man. And it was intriguing to say the least, you know what I mean? Because, at that particular time, it was like, all this money, man, young guys, man, you know what I mean? My age, man, going to school, coming to school, man, and they was, it was what was popping, man. I can't say that I didn't want to be a criminal. I did. I wanted to be a criminal, man. And that's what I became, man. You know what I mean? Because that's what I seen. I emulated what I seen. You know what I mean? And it was, Detroit was something else, man. But then, when the heroin started fading out, man, meaning the mixed jive, man, because the mixed jive was like, quinine dorms, lactose, you know what I mean? And that's your mixture, you know what I mean, that you put with your heroin. And the heroin back then was strong, but, you know what I mean, it was fading out. People was getting on methadone, and people was coming up off of heroin and stuff like that, and they was shaking it. And in the process of them shaking it, man, you know what I mean, they would, next thing you know, it was cocaine, you know what I mean? Cocaine was, people was doing that, you know what I mean? And it was like, that's what people who got money did, you know what I mean? People who was, out there getting money, fast life, that's what they did, you know what I mean? But when I went to the training school and come home from the training school, not to say that I didn't see crack before I went to the training school, but when I went to the training school and I came home, you know what I mean, 85, 86, man, crack was everywhere, man. So it wasn't, I'm ready to jump off the porch and get money selling mixed jive, man, to get back down on the squad, you know what I mean? But at that time, man, Schoolcraft, you know what I mean, was popping, man. Brightmore was popping with the crack. And then, that's when, it was dudes over there, that was Pony Boys, you know what I mean, the guys that was affiliated with Pony Boys, and they had the yayo, they had the work, they had the cocaine, the crack, and they actually put me on the team, you know what I mean, and when they put me on the team, you know what I mean, it was like, it was wonderful to me, you know what I mean, because, I wasn't used to seeing that type of activity in my mother's neighborhood on Schoolcraft. I was used to, places like the Cass Corridors, Dexter, Woodward, the Boulevard, 14th Ferry Park, Linwood, you know what I mean, Broad Street, Joy Road, stuff like that, Highland Park. I was used to seeing that type of activity, you know what I mean, in those particular slots. I wasn't used to seeing that type of activity on Schoolcraft. Even though on Schoolcraft, man, I love badass. We was, stealing cars, breaking in houses, we was tearing them, them Europeans, them Caucasians out the frame over there because we was close to Rosedale Park and all that. So we was tearing them out the frame, but the brothers and the sisters was coming over there. And when I was on Schoolcraft, that was like a safe haven for me. But you had the projects. You had the Smith Home Projects. It was right around the corner from me. You know what I mean? So it was everywhere. Everybody either wanted to be one or two things. They wanted to be Pony Down or they wanted to be YBI. For the most part, they wanted to be YBI. You know what I mean? YBI was it. You know what I mean? That was the influence. Like they say, man, them boys were stars. You know what I mean? Them boys, when they stepped up in the place, you know what I mean? They demanded the respect. And, they got all the attention. You know what I mean? They had lots of money like this. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, man. Jumping out of Benzes, man. And, Audis and Saabs and, Volvos and, Laredo Jeeps and stuff like that, man. It was just, it was big gold ropes and, gold map rings, and it was riding scooters, you know what I mean? And the city was fast, man. It was fast, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of money, man. But when that crack hit, man, it was like, it was something else. And that's when I started messing with them guys, man, that was either they was Pony Down or they was affiliated with Pony Down. Because at the time, most, if not all of the guys that was really heavy hitters, you know what I mean? Not all of them, but most of them that was heavy hitters, they had got indicted, man. The indictments had came down. They was in the joint. They was going to prison and stuff like that. So when I come home from the training school, it was a whole new era. That crack, it swept like crazy, man. And I jumped off the porch, you know what I mean, with the crack thing, man. And I started messing with my mans and them, you know what I mean, over there in that area, man. Like Minot, Auburn, Plainview, Evergreen, Crescent Drive, which is the Smith Home Projects, you know what I mean, all the way down the Telegraph from Schoolcraft over to Finkel, you know what I mean, and that's what it was over there, man, and it was like when people was coming out the nod, they dropped the crack, and when they dropped that crack, man, that was a whole nother monster, man, you know what I mean, so, we're going to keep coming at y'all, man, and we're going to try to piece things together because the movie is definitely coming. Ghetto Racketeering, you know what I mean? The movie is actually gonna be called The True West Side Story, The Best Kept Secret, man. So y'all watch out for that, man. You know, thanks for watching, man. Make sure y'all push that like button and that subscribe button, man. You know what I mean? And keep watching, man. And I'm gonna keep bringing it to y'all, man. Salute, man.